with Arnold Dean. Hot talk, great guests. Weeknights at 6:15 from WTIC, Hartford.
CBC Radio, Canada's public broadcast.
Try Carter's Little Liver Pill. Good advice.
Good mornings only on KCMO Kansas City. It's 8 o'clock.
When you're tuned to CDS Radio.
This is the DX Central from the Static Podcast.
From Studio B of the North Shore Studios in Mandeville, Louisiana.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of the DX Central from the Static Podcast. I am your host, Lloyd Van Horn. Here in the North Shore Studios in Mandeville, Louisiana, I'm in Studio B, and we just wrapped up another edition of DX Central Live. This is episode number 16 from season 6, and it's going to be our last one for a little bit. We're taking some time off for the Mardi Gras season, and going to enjoy, 3 weeks here of Mardi Gras parades and festivities and revelry. So we're taking some time off from the live stream, but we packed a lot into this episode before we left. So we introduced a new challenge. We introduced our 1,000-mile challenge. It's going to carry us through this little bit of a break. So the goal here is to hear stations that are 1,000 miles away or more from your location. So anything that's less than 1,000 miles doesn't count. So we're looking for those distant stations and trying to push our capabilities and our skill sets to hear further and further out. We talk a bit about the demo version, Take One, Solar Storm. It was supposed to be this amazing storm. But it didn't really pan out. The BZ, Bravo Zulu, which is indicative of the magnetic directionality of the storm, it was swung in the positive direction, which is not what we want. We want it in the negative direction. So we talk a bit about that. We talk about some of these metrics and what metrics are helpful to look at. And we looked at some space weather forecasts and kind of talking a bit about what may be on the horizon. So if this one didn't pan out, maybe we got something heading our way that will. In hour 2, we talk a bit about some portable DX. So, power outages happen this time of the year. We have solar storms, but we also have regular storms, ice storms, snowstorms, windstorms, and sometimes those knock out the power. And when they do, that means the noise floor is going to bottom out. And if you have a portable radio by your side, once you've kind of got everything hunkered down and you're nice and safe and cozy at home, maybe flip on the radio a little bit and see what you can hear in those much quieter conditions. So we talk a bit about that. And we're going to be doing some really, really fun DX. First hour, we finish up the 1500 to 1540. Second and third hours, we're looking for stuff that is out there. I'm talking far away. So that's going to be what we're going to be looking at for this edition of DX Central Relive, as we present to you the audio-only version of our DX Central live stream, Season 6, Episode 16. Sit back, relax, take us with you wherever you might be, and here you go. It's DX Central Relive.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
Listen to me. Are you depressed? Did you stay up all night waiting for the X-Class flare? Did you tell your family, yo, look at the sky? And then you looked like a moron when nothing happened. That hurts, don't it? It makes you feel weak. And I don't like weak. I'm Vinny the Voltage Vaccaro of the law firm Spark, Gap, and Arson. And we are suing the sun.
That's right.
We are taking that big ball of gas to court. The Sun signed a contract. It promised Aurora. It promised openings to Uruguay and Brazil. And what did it give us?
Nothing.
Literally nothing. That is disrespectful. And nobody disrespects my clients. So we are filing a class action lawsuit. You want compensation? You get compensation. We want compensation. And we are getting compensation. Trust me. You want trans-equatorial openings guaranteed? Yeah. We are going to make the Sun an offer it can't refuse. And if the sun doesn't pay up, let's just say it might have a little accident involving a Dyson sphere, capiche?
What you gotta say now, punk?
Call me. 1-800-SUIT-THE-SUN. Do not make me wait. I get very emotional when I wait. Call the number.
Spark Gap and Arson is not a real law firm. We are three guys in a warehouse in Jersey. We cannot actually serve a subpoena to a star. Attempting to sue the sun may result in heat stroke. We take 80% of the settlement. Now, leave the cannoli. Take the settlement.
Call now, or else.
It's a Friday night, rolling in the North Shore, setting frequencies right. AM and FM, the airwaves collide. DX Central Live, where the signals can't hide. Tuning in the static, chasing down the sounds. Every single signal is magic we have found. All radios hum, the chatters all agree. DX Central Live is the place to be. Folks in the chat, shout out your call. From east to west, we're breaking down the walls. It's the magic of the night, where frequencies fly. Join us now on DX Central Live.
From the Gulf South
to your corner of the world,
this is DX Central Live.
Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
From the North Shore Studios here in beautiful Mandeville, Louisiana, it is DX Central Live, Season 6, Episode number 16, my friends. And we bring you, hopefully, well wishes of warmth and comfort and coziness and safety over the weekend. I know quite a few of you are under the gun for some big ice. I'm worried about our friends up at Boot Crew North. Folks over in the Dallas region, that whole I-20 corridor between I-20 and I-40, you guys just, oof. So hopefully you all are going to be hunkered down, have your batteries in stock, an alternative source of heat, all that fun stuff. You're going to be cuddled up in some blankets. Maybe a little time for DX. Hey, if power's out, there's nothing else to do. That's what I've done during whenever we had like a hurricane or tropical storm and we'd go through Charleston or here in Louisiana, we'd lose power. I'd say, well, nothing else to do. I'm just going to fire up this radio while I have no noise and see what I hear. So there you go. All right. We have not a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. I'm kind of keeping it light because I want to make sure we focus on you guys with your shout outs. I want to focus on some DX. But we have a couple of things I want to talk about. Number one, let's talk about the sun. Let's talk about how it gave us nothing. Okay. Let's talk about how we're going to take it to court. Because what happened with that? Well, it was something that can happen during these solar events. We're going to talk a bit about that. When you have these events heading your way, these solar storms heading your way, CMEs and whatnot, there are very particular things that have to happen for you to get the DX you're looking for. Just like with this weather coming this weekend, there are very particular things that have to happen for these people to get snow and these people to get ice and these people to get nothing. So we'll talk a bit about what those things were that didn't really pan out. But it hasn't been all bad. I mean, I was expecting, like, when I saw the, biggest solar storm since the early 2000s, I was thinking this is going to be great. And we didn't get that, but we have had some residual energy. I know some folks in the chat talking about tonight how Latin America seems to be enhanced tonight. So we'll see if we see that here. You guys know I like to take a look at the what I call the beacon frequencies, the ones down in Latin America that tell me how conditions are kind of looking down that way, because that's my usual point of emphasis on the AM band. We did see some FM auroral conditions for folks up a little bit further north. So on the AM band, we saw the big blackout, right, that everyone was kind of enduring. Even down here, we had blackout pretty much down here. I wasn't hearing anything. I heard on 910, where normally I have San Andres and Providencia, things like that. I had nothing. I had Florida. I got a new station out of Florida I'd never heard before, because that's how shallow the DX was here because of the way that the solar storm was kind of panning out. So, but there has been some residual energy, and we did see some FM auroral ease occurring further up north. Some folks were seeing that. So, I don't know. Maybe there might be another round 2 of this coming up. There may be some additional stuff. That's what some of the forecasters have been saying. Some of the space weather people that I follow on Twitter and whatnot, they've said, hey, we may get some more of this stuff coming around because there's some stuff spinning around that looks pretty promising. So we'll take a look at that tonight. We're also going to talk about this weekend with the winter weather that's approaching. And what that means, because let's be honest, okay, we talk about making sure you're safe, making sure you have your batteries and your cell phones charged up and your cars are filled with gas and you're ready to roll. You've got your provisions, you've got your blankets, you've got some sort of alternate source of heat that you can safely use in your home. Okay, you've done everything you're supposed to do. All the checklist is checked off. Now, one of the things we talk about is maybe doing a little DX, but what do you expect to hear? Well, there's some interesting stuff that we might be able to hear. And if you're not being impacted by the weather, you may still be able to participate in some of that interesting programming and using some of that interesting programming to give you some stuff you don't normally get to hear. So we're going to talk a bit about that as well. We do have a new challenge we're launching tonight. Now, this challenge will be running for the next 3 weeks because we are taking some time off for Mardi Gras. And so for the next 3 weeks, we'll be doing the same challenge. We'll be launching that here later on this next hour, rather. And of course, we got lots of shout outs to get to. I'm already seeing quite a few in here. So get your shout outs in, shout outs through the shout out submission form at dxchallenges.com/shout out. And while we're talking about that form, by the way, that's not what I thought it was going to be. Come on. While we're talking about the DX Challenges website, make sure you go register. That way you can take part in the fun stuff that we have going on with our new challenge coming up here later on this next hour and all the challenges we'll have for the rest of the season. So, all right. So I started a little early tonight because I normally here lately have been kind of pushing it really close to the top of the hour. I wanted to give myself a little bit of breathing room so we at least have a chance to chat before we jump into everything. Let's talk about the next 3 weeks. So the next 3 weeks, we are taking off here on live DX Central Live. Okay, so you won't see me on camera as I am now on the live stream the next 3 weeks. But we are going to have programming that will be available during this time slot. And each of the 3 weeks is going to be a different kind of programming. We're going to do a little different theme. And that's going to be in conjunction with DX Radio. So we're going to be broadcasting on DX Radio and DXCentralLive.com and this live stream all simultaneously. So we're going to be doing a simultaneous broadcast across all of our live platforms. So I got some extra special stuff for you guys. The first week, I guess I can go ahead and talk about this. The first week, next week, we have a special release of mixtapes that we're going to be starting. And this first one is my mixtape. It's what I consider my favorite songs that we've created so far from DX Radio for the live stream here. And so I'm going to be voice tracking that. I'm actually going to be doing voice tracking on the radio station on DX Radio with our favorite, my favorite DX themed songs that we produced, instrumentals, remixes, the lyrical stuff, all of it. I'll also be reading shout outs. So when we clear out the shout-outs tonight, continue to submit your shout-outs over the next several weeks. Just keep submitting them. As you get stuff in, just keep submitting your shout-outs. And during these special broadcasts over the next 3 weeks, we'll be doing on DX Radio /DX Central Live, we'll be reading the shout-outs. Now, I'll probably be doing it a day or two in advance of the actual show itself because I'm voice tracking and doing all the recording. So you never know when those might be this week or next week or whenever. Just keep submitting your shout-outs. Keep sending those in as you get them in. As you want to put those in, and we'll read them out. And then when we come back in 3 weeks on the 20th of February, we should hopefully have a nice clean slate of shout outs. So we'll still be doing your shout outs, even though we're not live here on screen. We'll be doing those shout outs on our programming that we'll have our pre-recorded programming from DX Radio. So that's going to be the first week is Lloyd's Mix. And the other special part about this, because a lot of our folks have been asking for this, is that we will actually be making these mixtapes available for download for free. But you will have to be a patron to get to them. This is going to be an exclusive for our patrons because this was kind of their idea, was to have a way to be able to download these songs. So these will only be available for a limited time. I'm not going to leave them up indefinitely. But because we want to kind of rotate these through. But this first volume 1 of my mix will be available for a little while. And we're going to premiere it and broadcast it on the show next week on the DX Radio Voice Track Show. And then we'll be putting that up for our patrons to download. So if you want to get access to that and some of the other cool stuff, I've got some live streams that are going to be exclusively for our patrons that I'm working on planning up. Some Zoom call stuff for our patrons. If you want to be part of all that, dxcentral.com. I'm sorry, not dxcentral.com. Patreon.com/DXCentral. That's the website. Patreon.com/DXCentral. Go sign up and you'll have access to this mixtape that we're about to drop and whatever other mixtapes that we do. Each one's going to have a different theme. You'll have early access to any videos we put up on our YouTube channel, early access to any podcast episodes, like actual, like the history of radio and all that kind of stuff. You'll have access to our exclusive live streams that we'll be doing, like Zoom calls where we talk about specific topics. Like I'm planning one here pretty soon on Google Sheets and data analysis using the Google Suite, because this has been one that's been requested. Our friend Sean Kutsko is actually requesting this recently, so we're going to be doing that very, very soon. That's going to be exclusive for our patrons. So patreon.com/DXCentral, and that'll get you access to all those exclusive little extras that we'll be doing over the next rest of the season. So let's do some live DX. I think it's about that time. Let's check out. Let's see, where do we start here? We started out here, so let's do this. This first DX session brought to you by the National Radio Club. NationalRadioClub.org is where you want to go for more information. And you see, I was looking here at the weather. So you guys are probably wondering if we're going to be getting anything. We're not supposed to get any of the ice. I don't think. We're actually supposed to be maybe getting some storms over the next couple of days. Maybe some storms, maybe just a lot of rain. Pretty decent chance of rain starting Saturday through Sunday. And then Sunday night, it's going to start getting cold. We're going to go from 64 on Sunday to afternoon to 19 that night, and then 16 Monday morning, Monday night, Tuesday morning. So yeah, we're gonna be getting cold, which I know for you guys. I mean, I saw Jacob talking about negative 23 at his place this morning. So for you, that might not be like 16. Break out the shorts, but here that's like that's a no. We don't do 16 here. We are sitting on our frequencies of 1500 to 1540, and that's where we're looking for anything that might be, let me get up here. Let me start 1510. Anything in our current challenge frequencies that we're wrapping up this evening. Again, that's the 1500 to 1540 range that we're doing right now. We'll be announcing our new one here after the top of the hour. So I'm up here on Linrad right now. This is with our low noise vertical and our W6 LVP loop, just to see what we got going on. We're on 1510. What do we hear? Do we have WLAC? Do we have Radio Monumental? Let's check.
English accents that they employ here, which are meant to be kind of poor man English accents, but Cockney style. I want you to listen carefully to how each one has to be more poor than the next one, and see why I think this sounds exactly like.
That got rid of WLAC, and that leaves us with radio, I'm assuming Radio Monumental here underneath, which is nice. All right, so this is off of, again, this is our low noise vertical antenna that we have, and it's on our, W6 LVP loop antenna, our magnetic loop. They're separated by about 60, 70 feet right now. Now, let's compare that to, let me pull this down here. This is the Shortwave Central Kiwi, which has our big southern-facing cast pointing down towards the Colombian-Panamanian border. Let's go to 1510 and see what the difference is on a directional antenna pointing right at South America. I'm just going back there and reading the chat. Jacob, I think we should be, especially you guys up north, entitled to some significant compensation from the sun. I agree.
newspaper in a septic tank. We have to get up every morning at 6 o'clock and clean the newspaper, go to work down the mill, 14 hours a day, week in, week out, for 6 months a week.
So that is WLAC. We're getting there on 1510. Let's check 1540. Now, this right now is our local. This is WFNO out of Gretna, Louisiana, just across the lake and across the river from the city of New Orleans. That's where I went to school, actually. When I lived on the West Bank, we went to school in Gretna. So that's what we're hearing right now. Let's see if we can get rid of them using our Linrad software here. Let's go now up to, so that's 10, 20, 30, 40 is about right about here. Here we go, 1540. And let's see if we can get rid of that local and see if maybe we have ZNS1 Bahamas in here. They're not usually very loud here. ZNS is not. We don't get them a whole lot, but if we do, let's just take a little listen here. 1 second, and I do hear some music in there that might be Bahamas. There we go. That gets rid of my local. Not hearing much underneath them. We have a regional Mexican station in there that could be, I think it's probably Texas, if I remember correctly. There's a Texas station there. There we go. See, that's getting rid of them there. Kaz brings up a very good point for our friends impacted by the storm coming up. Make sure your pets are taken care of. Make sure you take care of your pets.
DX Central Live Top of the Hour Alert. All right, let's look at 1500 here as we look for some DX here at the top of the hour. Oh, look at that beautiful amount of noise that just showed up. Right on time. Hey, Mamacita. Yeah, I think that's Kaz. I think that's what I was thinking of, the Galvestonian station. This is probably Mexico XEDF. I think that CBS News sounder we just heard might be I'm trying to remember if FED has CBS News. I think they do, don't they? Notice what you don't hear. No KSTP here anymore. Check 1510 again.
Nationals was in the U.S. illegally.
U.S. spokesman Marcos Charles says
fled from law enforcement on foot, abandoning his child in the middle of winter in a vehicle. My officer stayed with the child. They cared for him, took him to get something to eat from a drive-thru restaurant, and spent hours ensuring he was taken care of.
The boy's mother refused custody. The family's lawyer disputes that, saying they're looking at legal options so that the child and his father were taken to a family holding center in Texas.
Fox's Jeff Bonanza. Hundreds have turned out today in Minneapolis despite the frigid temperatures to protest ICE agents in the state. Americans listening to Fox News.
$15.20. We normally get a couple of stations out of Florida here to be Indio, with Haitian Creole, and WXYB out of Indian Rocks Beach, right around Tampa, with like Greek. I think I'm hearing the Haitian Creole Indio station right now. Hey, Earl. And let's check 15, because I don't think we've checked 1530 here yet. I think we did briefly last week. Normally this is WCKY as an easy one. We do get some Jacksonville here, WYMM, the Caribbean Power radio station. We do get them from time to time. We get Mexico here from time to time, XEUR. I miss the days when Radio Avivamiento down in Panama used to stalk here on this frequency with their horribly modulated signal. Oh, man. Pardon the yawning, everyone. My apologies. It's been a long week. Aiden says he's hearing a rosary on 1520 semi-local WPAY in the Toledo area. Nice. Let's check. That's our DX Central Kiwi. Let's take a look at our. Oh, sorry, that was our shortwave Central Kiwi. Let's take a look at the DX Central Kiwi really quick here on 1530. 1520, rather. This is on our low noise vertical antenna. We'll put this in upper sideband to get away from that 1510 slop. We get a lot of KRHW here out of Sykeston. We get a little bit of KOKC out of Oklahoma City on 1520. I have heard buffalo before here. They're not super common. I'm guessing this country station, though, is probably Sykeston. Country legends. Barry says, I've got a new portable radio, batteries, water, and food, so I'm ready for the power to go out. Man. All right. So I'm not hearing anything super distinct there. So let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the solar weather that we had earlier this week. We're going to just kind of touch on that really quick and what happened. Why didn't we get this? I mean, we had a big storm. We know it was a big storm. We saw the numbers. But why didn't we get any really big Latin enhancement? Well, we're going to talk about what happened. And we're also going to look at the forecast because there may be some more stuff heading our way from Old Sol. Let's hope we'll get some of that stuff to help make up for this last one. So don't go anywhere, my friends. More DX Central Live is heading your way right after this.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
They're out there chasing the night. The street lights glow, but I've got my shortwave on. It's my kind of show. Skip the parties and the fights. I've got frequencies to find. Stay home, tune in. That's my vibe. Catch the static from the world. It's alive. Who needs trouble when the airwaves hum? Stay home and tune in. Let the signals come. Let the signals come.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in beautiful Mandeville, Louisiana. Let's get you a glimpse here of Studio A. Oh, it's fine beauty.
The buzz, the faraway calls. This is my world. No rules, no walls. Stay home and tune in. That's my vibe. Catch the static from the world. It's alive. Who needs
All right.
waves on?
DX Central Live every Friday night. 0045 UTC here at DXCentralLive.com, YouTube.com/@DXCentral. We bring you DX tips, tricks, conversation, live DX, your shout outs, challenges, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So glad to have you here with us. Now, we will be taking the next 3 weeks off, as I mentioned. But normally, every other Friday night, you'll find us here. So let's talk about the sun. So this last week we had ourselves what they were calling was like one of the fastest or biggest, I don't know, proton events since 2001 or 2003. It's all different stuff. And basically this was one of like the fastest moving solar storms they had seen in a very long time. It was supposed to be substantial. We were supposed to have auroras down here into Mexico again, all the stuff like we've seen a couple times over the past few years. And we got to the event and we had some radio blackouts. We definitely had some major attenuation of the band here on the AM band here in Louisiana, even. To the point where not only was I not hearing stuff down to the south, or the north rather, I was also not hearing stuff down south either. I was hearing stuff kind of like short range.
I was hearing stations, like I said earlier, in Florida, where normally I would hear into the Caribbean. I was hearing stations in Mexico, but not anything down in like South America that I normally would hear on pretty much any given night from my location here in Louisiana. So it was very interesting that the way this storm actually kind of panned out, it didn't really give us southern enhancement. It gave us more of almost a northern and southern attenuation here at my latitude, at least. So what happened? What ended up happening here? Well, there's two things I think that happened. Number one, when it hit early enough in the day, earlier than they thought it would, because it was moving faster than they realized that it was. So it actually hit earlier in the day than they were expecting it to be. And so Europe had some really brilliant auroras. There were some pictures from the Isle of Man and from over in Scandinavia. They were seeing some absolutely gorgeous aurora early evening there in Europe. By the time that we got around to being in nighttime, something else was starting to happen. That BZ number that we look at had flipped from deep negative, like 30, 40 in the negative, which would have been great. We had a KP index of like 8, pushing 9. We had a negative 30, negative 40 BZ. And then around the time that we got to the nighttime where the conditions would be favorable for us to hear down south, that BZ flipped. And we were seeing 40, 50, 60 on the positive side. So, and it never really, I mean, it eventually did come back down to negative. By then, the K index was like 5 or less. The BZ was around like negative 3, negative 4, and it was towards daylight at that point. So we just, over that nighttime period, we never really got a good southern flip. And what that BZ is measure the polarity of the solar ions or solar protons or whatever it might be. It was talking about the polarity of the solar event, the solar storm, and it was flipped up north. So you don't get a push of that auroral cone. The aurora, the northern lights themselves don't push down further south when you have a northern polarity event. And that also means you're not getting that, if you're not getting that aurora pushing down, then you're not getting that northern attenuation, which means you're not getting that southern enhancement. So that's what happened. Is A, it hit earlier than they anticipated because it was so fast. And B, we didn't get, at least from our standpoint here in the North American continent, we didn't get that negative BZ with a big enough number to really make a difference. By the time we started seeing some BZs that were either negative or right around 0 or whatever, it was pretty close to sunrise for a lot of folks. So we just did not get that really big southern flip that we were looking for. So kind of a bummer. Now, we have had some residual energy this week. We've had we actually had a 5K index earlier today, which was nice. We're right now sitting at about a 4, which is decent. I mean, it's not like we're at a KP of 4 right now, which is not like crazy, but it's something that if we start getting a little negative BZ to go with it, especially if that BZ number gets bigger on the negative, then we might have a little something. But right now it's sitting at a 1.86 positive north. So again, we're not really catching a break here. So I would not expect tonight, unless things change, I would not expect tonight to be like a super southern enhancement night. For folks, I'll say kind of mid-latitude U.S. to the south. Now, folks up north, I think you're getting a little bit because that aurora is closer to you. So you're getting a little bit of attenuation to your north, and even there's not a lot of stations down there, or up there rather, north of you. It's still attenuating like that whole area and noise and everything else, and it's allowing some of those more southern stations to come in. So you might be like, I think Aiden mentioned, he's seeing a lot of southern stuff, Florida and so forth, down to the south tonight up in Michigan. So I think probably you guys up north might be getting a little bit. We're probably not down here. And I would say probably most of the middle latitudes of the U.S. probably not seeing a whole lot. But the further north you go, the more likely you might see a little bit of something, at least this evening. But there were some folks on Twitter, some of the space weather forecasters that were talking about this when this last event hit a couple of days ago. Be ready by the time we get to this weekend and beyond. We may have some more coming because there were some active regions of the solar disk that were, or the solar, not disk, the solar surface that were turning around and coming in towards us. So I want to show you guys really quick. This is a website that I look at. This is the NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center, and I'll drop this link in the chat.
That way, if you guys want to take a look at it, this actually gives you, this is the official Space Weather Agency with NOAA, their forecast. So it's like our storm prediction center that we have for tornadoes and whatnot and severe weather. Same thing, but the sun. So you'll see here where the aurora currently is. It's stretching down into Canada. David over in Maine, David Pete, you're getting a little closer to it. It's getting closer to you. So it's got a little bit of an eastern bulge here to it. You'll see here we had that planetary K index of around 5.33 at 0000 UTC. This was last night into this morning. And then it's kind of hovering around this 4.5 range. Here was a this 4.3. There's a 3.67. Right now we're right at a 4, right at 4 even right now, basically. But this also has a little bit of forecast. So you see the current conditions, most recent observed conditions. There's their forecast right here. And if I look ahead, this is forecast for tomorrow. This is forecast for the 25th, which is what? That's Sunday UTC time. So we might see a little bit of something tomorrow, overnight tonight into tomorrow. Here, a little G1 minor storm coming through. 10% chance of S1 or greater. So that's storm level 1 or greater, 10% chance. So nothing substantial, but since we're already kind of, and this might be why we're at a KP 4 right now, but if we're that and we get a little bit of bump off of it, we might bump up a little higher, maybe get some of that negative BZ to go with it. We might see a little bit of something. So just keep an eye on it over the next 24 to 48 hours. After that, looks like things are really going to start calming down again. With a no storm over the next couple of days, actually. So we might have a little bit of a chance of a minor G1 here over the next, I would say probably 6 to 12 hours or so. So just keep an eye, and maybe something might come around. So if you are like me and you're like, what happened? Why didn't we get the solar event? Why didn't we get a little southern enhancement? Now you know why. And maybe we might hopefully have an opportunity to do something over the next 24 hours or so if we get a little bit of a bump on what we currently have. But we'll see. We'll see. Before we get to our next topic, which it will be the FM AuEs that we did see have some folks getting in on, I want to get to your shout-outs because it's time for shout-outs.
Shout out loud, hear the call for every single big or small, from AM to FM, from C to C. We celebrate the ones who slag the IT. Shout out loud, let it be known, you're never DXing all alone. Through the static we found our way, shout-outs making waves today.
BZ's a positive 5.6 now. Still KP4, 28A index. So those are good numbers. Those are really good numbers. But the BZ being at a 5.6 on the positive side, would like for it to be a little bit more negative, a little more negative side. All right, let's get to your shout outs. You can put yours in at dxchallenges.com/shout out. Just let us know what you've been hearing since the last time we met, and we'll get it in here. We'll play some fun sounds. We'll blow the horn of victory in your honor. We'll give you that virtual high five and celebrate together. That's what we do here at DX Central Live. And again, after tonight, continue to submit your shout outs. Don't wait until Friday night, because if you wait till Friday night, it'll be too late to get them for this week. So just submit them throughout the week as you get stuff coming in. And we'll be reading those out randomly in our little pre-recorded show that we're going to be doing here for the next 3 weeks while we're out. So just as you get stuff in, you're like, hey, I want to submit. Maybe you got 2 or 3 things you got in. Submit those 2 or 3. And then later you get a couple more things. Submit those again. So we'll just keep popping those into the voice track work that we're going to be doing for that show. So over the next several weeks, just throw your shout outs in. You don't have to save them up for Friday night like we usually do. Just throw them in there, and then we'll pop them in as we do our recordings. And if it doesn't get in there the first week, it might get in there the second week or the third. So we'll get it in there. Boot Crew North, I hope they're bunkered down or hunkered down. Bunkered might work too. Keegan up in Arkansas with a new log. 1140 KC PP in Cleburne, Texas. with legal ID in the Guadalupe Radio Network on 0300 Zulu here a couple days ago. 332 miles for our friend Keegan for KCPP. There you go. Well done, my friend Keegan. Stay warm, stay safe, stay off the roads. You guys are right there under the gun of that ice storm. And man, look, you can drive in snow. All right. I know people talk about this all the time. You can drive in snow. All right. There's enough there. You might be able to get a little traction. Ice, your brakes mean nothing. Your steering wheel mean nothing. Well, they do nothing on ice. There's no counter steering on ice. Trust me. Living in the South as long as I have, and living in some very ice storm prone areas like the upstate of South Carolina, places like that, we got a lot of ice storms, and not one of them did tires and steering wheel and brakes all come into an agreement or alignment. They did their own thing. The ice was steering, not me. Our friend Dan Massey over in Texas. You be careful too, man. Well, you guys are under it as well. Good southern facing week for me. 6 new logs from Mexico. 3 in one night from Mexico City, bringing my total for the capital to 24 of the 26 stations, depending on which list you look at. IRCA put some Estado de Mexico stations into Distrito Federal, so it can vary a little bit. Even better, I logged a new state with XEFU on 6:30 out of Veracruz, 830 miles. That makes 17 states out of Mexico and 80 stations overall. Still targeting Mexican states and have some sunrise recordings, Mexican sunrise timeframes yet to review from this week, targeting Tabasco, Campeche, and Yucatan. Oh, and Veracruz was also log number 400, which is nothing for the most of you, but for me, it was worth an extra beer to celebrate. You're damn right it is, my friend. Well, let's get you first off. Let's get you that Mexican state celebration, because you got yourself Veracruz, which is a fantastic catch. Red beans and rice, baby. Yes, sir. Dan's over asking if RB&R is red beans and rice. Yes, it is. Red beans and rice. We have a guy down here in New Orleans. His name is Devin, or he goes by Hold the Mayo on like TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and all that. He does a call-in show after Saints games. I think he does it, most nights, most weeks rather. It's just a regular call-in show. People can say whatever they want. And he also does videos where he does like red bean reviews or eats the red beans for a couple more weeks. He's not got many of those left. He's about to into that series. But yeah, it's he's a local celebrity, honestly, here in the New Orleans area, so we support him here. And we got you some new logs in there, my friend. Well done, Dan. Red beans and rice on a Monday in New Orleans is a tradition. Big time tradition here in the city, and he keeps that tradition alive and well. So I support that. Well done, my friend. Good stuff. I always love seeing the stuff from Mexico getting logged, because when I was in Charleston, those were not easy, right? Mexican station logs were not easy to get. Here in Louisiana, different story. Now I'm coming out of my ears. But I'm now at that point where those have really started to slow down. So I'm always looking for tips for new stuff. And I've got, 5 or 6 states left, I think. So I'm always looking for tips on how to get those last couple ones. A couple of those are going to be really hard. Really hard. Durango is going to be really, really tough. Our friend Rick Dow up in Omaha, Nebraska. Hello, Lloyd. Just one new medium wave logging to report this week, and it happened during the supersized Auroral opening on Monday. See, some of the folks further up north got in on it. Don't you? Heard KTTU 950 in Lubbock, Texas. I know it's Lubbock. I just say Lubbock. Lubbock, Texas, 2111 Central Time, fair and alone on the channel.
with a clear mention of 100.7 the score in a promo. First time hearing this one from my QTH at this location. That's logging number 83 from Tejas. Domestic logging number 1051. And overall, logging number 1100. I will gladly take a heaping bowl of Texas chili for this one. I wish I don't have a Texas button here that I've made here yet. I don't have a Texas one yet. Maybe I should. I just started watching that TV show Landman with Billy Bob Thornton. So might have to cook something up for Texas now. We have Louisiana. Mom, dad from Texas. So maybe I should put something together for Texas. I'm not putting UT in there, Mom. No hook 'em. Not in this house. New milestone for our friend Rick here as he gets to overall logging number 1100, my friend. 1,100 stations logged. Lukenbach, yeah, that was kind of my inspiration for Lubach. I'm just one of those people who likes to say words weird sometimes for no reason, just to say them weird. And we got you the login here for you as well, my friend. Yeah, Landman took me by surprise. I didn't think I was going to like it, but we're now 4 episodes in, my wife and I are, and we're like, okay, we're going to keep watching this. This is addictive. And I know, I've heard like Mr. Global talk about how like hardly any of the stuff that they talk about in there is actually accurate. Like the character development is pretty accurate, like the words they say and the way they act and things like that. Like those kinds of guys, like the guys who work the fields and stuff, all that's kind of accurate. But like the technical stuff and a lot of the like Billy Bob Thornton's character is a little exaggerated and things like that. I get that. That's fine, but it's still fun. It's still fun. All right. Next up, we've got a big one here from our friend Aiden up in Michigan. Keep an eye on the clock here. Aiden, here are this week's logs, including an update for a station from a couple of weeks ago. Log number 1, 570 WIDS, Russell Springs, Kentucky. That's number 27 from the Bluegrass State. Heard some Southern Gospel on 570. Didn't match to the WMCA. No, last week you said not to log stations off of just format. This one's tentative for that reason. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. 1470 WMGG, Egypt Lake, Florida, number 7, 985.5 miles. Heard Whitney Houston on 1470. Checked my regular oldies, classic hit stations, and even a few R&B stations when we're playing. Then I heard some tropical, Caribbean sounding Spanish music. Didn't match K, M, and Q or anything south of the border. So there you go. 570 to be NAX in Yankton, South Dakota for the number 2 station from South Dakota. Braden, 708.5 miles. WFIN 1330 in Findlay, Ohio, number 55 from that state. 88 miles. Feels nice getting some low-hanging fruit out of the way. Isn't that always nice? Like, we love the big, long-haul DX. We like the exotic stuff, right? But sometimes there's just as much, especially after you've gotten your totals up a bit. There's something else to be said for getting something you're like, that's just across the border. Why haven't I gotten these guys yet, right? I always feel that way about stations out of Arkansas. For some reason, stations out of Arkansas make me smile. When I get a new one out of Arkansas, I'm like, all right. Texas, I'm like, okay, I got plenty of those. And I have a lot of Arkansas too, but for some reason, those Arkansas stations always just feel a little more, I don't know, special. 1420 to be FLT in Flint, Michigan for the 61st log from that state. 550 to be SAU in Wausau, Wisconsin. I hope I'm saying that right. I figure it's kind of like Nassau, Wausau. 357.7 miles for number 18 from Wisconsin. 1030 to be ONQ in Oviedo, Florida. I know that one's right. 946.6 miles. 1520 to be SVX in Shelbyville, Indiana for number 18 from that state, 225 miles. Sadly didn't get KOKC this week, nor did I get the ever elusive for him anyways.
Z and S1, maybe next time, he says. I think we might have an update on that one coming our way. 1220 WENC in Whiteville, North Carolina. Number 24 out of that state, 604 miles. 1540 WYNC in Yanceyville, North Carolina, to 458.3 miles for number 25. That's the second new challenge station for him. Nice. 1540 WSMI. Here's the other one. Litchfield, Illinois. 387.9 miles for 31 out of the state of Illinois. 1170 WGMP. The Gump. That's Montgomery, Alabama, in case for those of you who are not familiar with the Gump. Makes me laugh every time. Because as an LSU fan, we call people from Alabama, especially Alabama fans, Gumps. I think a lot of people do, but I know here in Louisiana we do. I don't think that's exclusive to us. Here's one we can help him out here with. An unidentified country station on 1170. Unknown, they were playing Terry Clark's Better Things to Do. The only country station listed is in Arizona, KYET Golden Valley, but formats change all the time, so it could easily be another station. For all I know, it could be Arizona, but due to massive distance, I'm pretty doubtful that it is. It'd be 1,700 miles away from me for those wondering if it is the Arizona station, and that would also be a new state. So 1170 country music. Now, I don't think they've played country music in years and years and years and years and years and years. But I remember back in the day when I lived on the East Coast, WWVA did, right? Do they still do it? Now that was probably back in the day when they were playing the Road Gang Coast to Coast Trucker Show overnight that was based here out of WWL out of New Orleans. So I don't think they've done that in years and years and years and years and years. But I'll have to go back in my logs and look for 1170, see what I have that might have country music. Well, I'll look that up for you. Also on 1170, though, Radio Trinchera out of Cuba. That's number 9 out of Cuba for him. 1,600 miles. Let's see. It could also be XERT, even though it says they're a daytimer, and I heard at least 40 or so minutes after the local sunset, but it's likely Cuba. Gotcha. For an update on the CMGW XECPAE 1060 thing, I checked both stations around 9:30 to 10 o'clock on Thursday when I heard them a few weeks ago. CMGW Radio 26 26 was playing Spanish pop music, while XECPAE, which is Radio Universidad, or Radio Educación. I get that wrong. Radio Educación was playing more niche music. They do a lot of like classical and like sophisticated. I call it sophisticated music. What I heard was Spanish on 1060 a few weeks ago was some Afro-Cuban music, which they do cultural stuff. XECPAE does. And matched up well with the DX Central Kiwi, so I think I might log it as XECPAE. In that case, it'd be Mexican number 4, and my second from Distrito Federal. Listen for that top of the hour ID. I have it here on our resources page, on the DX Challenges resources page. Listen for the top of the hour that they have. It's very distinct. They have this little chime kind of sound that they play. And I've got a clip for it. Just look on this page, Aiden, here. There you go. Look on that page, scroll down till you'll see Mexico 1060 XECPAE. And you'll hear the little, actually just play it.
XECPAE, Cultura 1060 AM.
Una emisora de Radio Educación, la radio cultural de México.
Transmite con 100.000 watts de potencia desde la Ciudad de México.
That's the easiest way to validate that you have Radio Educación. Is that little na 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 na. Listen for that. That cuts through the static very well, and that little guitar melody does too. That does a good job at cutting through, but especially that last little thing, that does a really good job. I'll share a clip from the DX test from WNAM here. My reception was confirmed. I now have my first QSL card. Woohoo! Here's the clip from WNAM.
There's the Morse. There you go, man. All right, so we got a couple things to hand out here. We got some cheese to cut tonight. Shoo. Carl mentioned, congratulations to Indiana for winning their first national championship in football, which was pretty cool. Fernando Mendoza did a good job on that one. New Latin American stations for our friend Aiden as well. Yeah, Rick, remember the Road Gang? They sent me a hat. I had a Road Gang hat. Oh God, what was his name? The guy that was like the host of the Road Gang. This was pre-Red Eye Radio. And these guys were not as political. They weren't political at all. I don't remember at all what I remember, which was nice back before everything was political. Road Gang, coast to coast. WWVA had them. They were based out of New Orleans, WWL, and I forget some of the other stations that ran the Road Gang, but KXEL was one. I know that because I actually wrote to them and I got them to send me their affiliate list so I could DX from it. But I had to promise that I wouldn't publish it anywhere or share it with anybody, so I never did. I never did send that off to NRC or anybody, but I had the Road Gang coast to coast official affiliate list. I had that with a couple of different networks back in the day. I used to be very, Mom probably remembers, I used to write all these guys all the time and ask for affiliate lists and stuff like that. And like, why do you want to know? Also, Aiden, some new logs. So we're going to hit that horn of victory and saw some logs here for you. We got a couple more here we'll do before we do our announcement for our new challenge. This one is for John Johnson out of Arizona. He usually watches us on the replay, but got his shout out here for this week. One new one to report. 1290 out of Crockett, Texas. KIVY. One of my regular, I'll call them pests here. 1290 is one of those frequencies. It's either KIVY or WHKY. And you hear that Y and you're like, wait, which one? This is the number 124 from the state of Texas that I've logged from Mesa, and that brings my total number of logs to 925. Well done, my friend John. There you go. Yeah, KIVY is Dave Nemo. That was his name. Dave Nemo. Yes. Well done. Thank you. That was going to bug me. I was about to go try to dig up the envelope that I still have over here with all that stuff in it. Next. Let's go to Kaz. Neil Kazaroz. Yes. The Kaz. In Illinois. 1140 WVVA out of Florida, Orlando. Tropical music parallel to the stream and ID at the top of the hour. My friend, well done. Well done, Kaz. Always love seeing your stuff in here, man. Let's do one more, and then we'll save the rest of these here for our next hour. Always love seeing what our friend David Pete up in Maine gets, because he gets some amazing stuff down in Latin America, Europe, Middle East. Guy gets it all. I mean, Maine's got like one of those magnets. He installed one of the Tim Trump trademarked. Trying to combine words there. See, I do that. Tim Trump trademarked DX magnets is installed up there for David up in Maine. A few evenings ago, I heard some word of a transatlantic signal being received on the Slack channel. See, Here we go. I quickly checked it out and was able to receive a few Eastern European stations, a couple relogs, but one was new and country number 40, see, Ukraine 1278 is the frequency UR1 in Ukraine. I was also able to find a new Latin station. Under WOR on 710. I phased them out as best I could, was able to hear a station much, much better, and that was Radio Capital out of Caracas, Venezuela. New for Venezuela at number 12. This man has 12 stations out of Venezuela. I have 2, and I barely have those 2. One of those I'm like solid. The other one, I barely have that other one. A man here has 12 out of Venezuela, 40 countries, and the newest being Ukraine. That's what I'm talking about. And here is Radio Capital out of Venezuela. Let's listen. Let's try that one more time with our ears not bleeding. Yeah, there are a lot fewer. As I remember, the first one I heard was Radio Coro on 780, and that thing was a beast for me in Charleston. I heard them loud. They're gone. A lot of the stations are gone. Which is it's a shame because that's one of those countries. It's far out there to the east, way out there to the east, and if you could use that as a good beacon, if you're hearing stuff out in the Venezuela, that can tell you a lot about how conditions are working. But they're so rare now that they're not reliable enough to do that with. All right, so we got to stamp a passport here for our friend David with a new country, Ukraine. You kidding me? And then the new Venezuelan, which is a new Latin American station. You know how we like to dull that out here. There we go. And we're also going to stall that log here for you. Coming up next hour, we're going to have Jacob. We're going to have David in Georgia, Dennis in Virginia, and our friend Stuart up in Michigan. Next hour, shout outs. All right. We are going to say bye to 1500 to 1540. Rearview mirror that one. It is now in our distant memory as we move on for a new week and a new challenge. And this challenge, again, will last for 3 weeks. So we're going to start this one now. It'll run through the 13th. We're going to have 1 week between the 13th and the 20th where we don't have a challenge at all. A little bit of a break for you guys as well. I'm taking a break. You get a break. So we're going to have 1 week without a challenge. But for the next 3 weeks, we're going to grind. We're going to grind. We're bringing back a very, very popular challenge from last year. This was people liked this one. I got a lot of commentary on this one. And so this is a refresh from season 4 when we did our theme-based challenges. You guys ready for this? Here we go. So this is an easy one, but it's not easy. This is going to be a tough one, but the concept is simple. Log as many stations as you can that are located 1,000 miles or more from your location. 1,609 kilometers. So 1,000 miles or more. Anything less, 999.5, doesn't cut the mustard.
Got to be 1,000 miles or more. Anything 1,000. So basically, you can draw a ring around in one of those great circle maps, which I can actually give you guys. We can do that. We can throw the link in here for the great circle map. So let's do that. Ham radio great circle map. I should have bookmarked this map generator here, but I have not yet done that. Let's go ahead and throw this here in the chat. So let's put this up on screen. I'll show you how to do this. So I just put the Great Circle Map Generator here, the link in the chat, okay? Here's how you do this. You put your lat long, or your location here. I'm just going to put in my Echo Mike 40XI. So I'll just put my grid square in there. You can put your lat long, whatever you have. Distance. This is going to be in kilometers. So 1,609 kilometers is my distance from here for 1,000 miles. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and say create map. And this is basically anything in this circle right here is not going to work for me. I cannot count anything inside of this circle for this next 3 weeks. Anything that's inside of this that I hear does not count for our challenge for the next 3 weeks. Double credit if they're more than 2,000. You can log them. That's about it. So you want to get as many as you can that are 1,000 miles or more. Okay. 1,609 kilometers is the number you'll use to plug in here to the Great Circle Map. So I've got to look beyond my circle here. This is the easy way of kind of looking at this. Anything outside of this circle counts. Anything inside of it does not. There you go. That's what we're shooting for. If you look in medium wave list, you can also do it this way. This is one of the things that I like to do. Let's just say 550 kilohertz. Here's 550 kilohertz in medium wave list. All this stuff right here, this QRB, this mileage right here, all this down to here where it says WSAU in Wausau, Wisconsin. That's where it starts. So anything below that, I'm good to log. Anything above it, no. So that's another very easy way to do this. Is get yourself, if you don't have one, get yourself a medium wave list account, log into medium wave list, and sort by the mileage over here, which I think it comes default that way. And scroll down till you'll see 1,000 on the frequency, and anything below that, go for it. Anything above it, not so much. That's what you're looking for. So there you go, 1,000 miles or more. That's what you're trying to shoot for. 1,000 miles or more. So anything, again, when you do if you do the Great Circle Map, anything that you draw, when you make your 1,609 kilometer Great Circle Map here, anything that is inside of that circle is not for the challenge. Anything outside of the circle, go for it. There you go. 1,000 miles or more. So that means for me, a lot of Mexico is off limits now for me, because a lot of Mexico here, like 660 XE CPR, Radio Chan Santa Cruz 660. Yeah, I can't do that one. I better hope for KTNN. Can't do the Monterey station either. That's under 1,000 miles. Most of Cuba is under 1,000 miles for me, so I'm not going to be able to count any Cubans. Part of Guatemala here is under 1,000 miles. So I've got to look into Central America or South America, or hope I get lucky and get something up here in the Northeast or Canada or out West. That's my only shot. Well, that's one of the downsides of living in the middle of the country. You're kind of within 1,000 miles of a lot of places. So there you go. Basically, someone based in Mexico wins. Mexico, I think if I remember right, last year, Mexico Mike cleaned up in this one. Mexico Mike Jeziorski, I think he did a really, really good job with the challenge in this particular week. So yeah, your folks out west or the middle of the country who are looking back towards, who are 1,000 miles or more from the East Coast, they're gonna have a lot of fun with this one, because they're gonna, well, if they can get the stations, they're gonna be towards the top of the list. Your East Coast DXers, you're going to have a bit of a harder time with this one, other than international stuff down into Latin America, or if you can get into Europe, things like that. But the biggest part of your normal volume worth of DX that you normally have is all the stuff crammed in on the East Coast. Well, you can't rely on that because that's all within 1,000 miles now. So you have to get out west. You have to get down south. That's where you're really going to be able to try to make some of the difference up. So with that in mind, obviously for me, a lot of this is going to be looking down to the south. So we're going to start taking a look at some of our beacon frequencies that we typically like to look at to kind of gauge conditions. I want to see how we're looking anyway. Let me go back to my solar conditions again. Positive 5.3 on the BZ right now. So we still haven't swung southward with our auroral cone here. So let's just take a look and see how does that equate to conditions right now. So we're going to pull up our shortwave central Kiwi, and we're going to look down south. Let's start with our usual 1510. I do want to mention this live DX session is brought to you by the International Radio Club of America, IRCAonline.org. For membership information, sign up to get some of their great publications like the IRCA Mexican log. If you're more than 1,000 miles away from Mexico, that's going to be a very handy thing this week. You're going to like having a copy of the IRCA Mexican log. Just go up to the IRCA online website, go to publications, get a copy of it, download it, and that will be one of your best friends this week. Here we go.
I work for a hospital, so I could use 430. So there is money in there without me having put anything in there as of yet.
See, there's Jacob. 1,061 miles for WWL. See, but I can't reciprocate that because the Minnesota stations don't like me. They don't show up.
Well, this last year, growth was most of us.
I have a better shot of hearing Manitoba than Minnesota.
Awesome. Okay.
Think about that.
This is how it's going to cost.
We're trying to stick to 600, but it is planned. So it's definitely different.
I am more likely for Manitoba and Saskatchewan than I am Minnesota.
Wow.
Sure. And you're renting right now? What's your rent cost?
$1,400.
So Radio Monuments Hall is kind of
That's amazing. What's your income? That's fantastic. And
let's go look for San Andres y Providencia.
Y en esta estadística es importante mencionar que fue un fenómeno cuando su eminencia San Andrés fue nombrado cardenal, porque ese año fue cuando más caballeros entraron en la ciudad.
Charles says KRVN is 1,110 miles away and often sounds local. Yeah, they're throwing a lot of signal down in Southern California. When I was in Lake Forest doing some DX sessions, they were loud. I'm hoping this is San Andres y Providencia here that we have sitting on 910. For those of you looking for Mexico, this is a fantastic frequency for Mexico, 900 kilohertz XEW.
A continuación, Milenio Noticias con Pedro Gamboa.
¿Estás listo para conectar con un viaje perfecto con Turkish Airlines? Para sentirte renovado.
XEW is a fantastic station to try to get out of Mexico. Here's another good frequency for those looking for Mexico, 730 XEX W Deportes. Western Mass News intro.
DX Central Live, top of the hour alert.
You guys here on 1510, that's the only frequency. Well, there would have been 910 as a possibility. Choir music on 820. Got BAP here. In case you're wondering what that awful noise is. Actually, I'm kind of wondering what that noise might be now. Trying to get this. Play. Trying to figure out who this might be. This football americano. This might be my local. Yeah. Now, who is that? With Robert Palmer, I don't know. That could be Locura. But the one here kind of in front that's talking, that's my local KGLA in Norco. Yeah, they're not supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be able to hear them right now. Ugh.
Un niño de 5 años detenido por ICE en el área de Minneapolis se encuentra con su padre en una instalación en Texas. Una de las tormentas invernales más grandes y peligrosas desde los últimos años se 230 millones de personas en al menos 34 estados podrían verse afectadas. El mayor riesgo está en el sur sureste del país, donde se espera hielo catastrófico de hasta 1 pulgada, capaz de tumbar árboles y líneas eléctricas con apagones prolongados. Desde Texas hasta el noreste se pronostican nevadas de más de 30 centímetros.
Yeah, I don't get much Canada here. Very rare for me to get Canada on AM. On 830, I've got 2 stations. I've got one station, which is my local KGLA, and then this other station playing music, which is probably Locura out of Mexico City. Hey, Sean. He was on 840. Cool, Sean, I got you. I don't know who that would have been just now with those beeps on 840. They weren't time pips. It almost sounded like Radio Reload, but it wasn't them. Could be W. I get them quite often here. But you hear that static, the interference, that slop? That's my local KGLA doing that. Let's get away from that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's W out of Cuba. HAS is in there as well. Yeah, the only Rolo that I'm actually hearing these days is 950. This is it. Now, this used to be a ubiquitous thing. You'd hear it all over the band. This is the only Rolo that I can reliably hear anymore. 950. That's them. And even that one's struggling. No 870. I haven't heard the wobbler underneath WWL in a while. Where's the ID? Here it comes. There you go. No 820. No 860. No 570. That was always a big one, was 570. None of those. Just 950. That's the only one that I'm hearing anymore. Which is crazy. And I'll give you another one here. Is that Progresso? There's no way that's... Is that Progresso playing American country music? That's not WSM. There's WSM.
Participar es facilísimo. Toma tu celular y mándanos un WhatsApp con un pensamiento o un poema original. Ponte creativo. Aceptamos audios, videos o mensajes de texto. El tema es libre, amor, amistad o ese mensaje que llega al alma. Envíalo al 983-753-22 y entrarás directo a la rifa. Queremos escucharte, verte, leerte y premiarte. Tienes hasta el 10 de febrero para participar. Exprésate y gana. Radio Chan Santa Cruz, culturalmente activa.
Esta es Radio Chan Santa Cruz, 660 AM. Alegría musical y un equipo profesional que te brinda información, diversión y éxitos. Radio Chan Santa Cruz, desde Felipe Carrillo Puerto, Quintana Roo.
Nice ID. Nice ID. That's Radio Chan Santa Cruz, XCCPR. This should be, I think that's Radio Progreso out of Cuba. Normally I would hear a parallel on 650 and 660. I don't hear them. That's Progreso. Yeah, that's Progreso there. So some things are still around out of Cuba. So 950 is still there from Radio Relo. 640 Progreso is still there. Encyclopedia, although a bit weaker on 530, is still there. 1180 and 670 for Rebeldy, they're still there. So there's still some stuff that's reliable out of Cuba, but a lot less than there used to be. Definitely a lot less. So let's do a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have more DX heading your way. We got more shout outs to get to with round 2. I'm going to play you guys a clip. This came from the Slack channel. Actually, it came from Twitter, but I posted the Slack channel, so it came from the Slack channel. And there you go. Of analog TV DX that was captured recently. Analog TV DX of the order of about 2,000 miles. Now, there's some debate if this was F skip, which I happen to think it was, or if it was some kind of E or auroral E or something. I think it was F2, but that's me. But so we'll play that here when we come back from our break. So don't go anywhere, my friends. More DX Central Live heading your way after this.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central. From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. We're in Studio A this evening, bringing you live DX, your shout-outs, and a brand new challenge. You're now looking at 1,000 miles or more for our challenge. That reminds me, I need to go turn off the current frequency challenge announcement over here on DX Radio. Saw a mention here in the chat. Blazer Bobcat says, can any stations that receive less than 1,000 miles be mentioned in the shout out section? Yeah, absolutely. So if you get some new ones, but they're just, under 1,000 miles, absolutely. Shout out all the way. But for the challenge itself, those will be only ones that are 1,000 miles or more. That's the delineation there. So you can definitely submit as many as you want to in shout out form. Any new ones that you get, things like that. But where is news? There we go. January 16th. You are disabled. I'll get the new one up here tonight. For the shout outs, anything goes. Whatever you get that's new that you want to talk about or that you accomplished. But for the challenge, it has to be 1,000 miles or more. That's the difference. All right. So I mentioned this before the break. Did a little tease on this before the break. I want to play you guys something. Because this is tripping me out, man. This is on Twitter. This is Andrew. Is this our Andrew? KADL? This might be. Up in Ohio? There we go. This is for two reasons. A, this is analog skip on TV, which we just don't see that anymore. People just don't get that anymore very often. Secondly, this is from Colombia. So if this is our buddy Andrew up in Ohio that got this, then this is remarkable. Even more. Oh, I guess I should probably do the little thing. Come on.
That's where you'll find it, y'all. It came from the slap, DXer sharing. It came from the slap, and they're audio clips, yeah. It came from the slap. What they talking about, Lloyd?
All the buttons. Yeah. All the buttons. Push them all at once. And everything fired. This is, again, from our friend. I'm pretty sure this is our buddy Andrew up in Ohio. Getting analog TV DX from Colombia. You guys ready for this?
Estamos viendo Aftershock de la Casa de los Famosos, Colombia. Cuando Colombia conversa, el país avanza. Por eso el tiempo y RCN nos unimos. El momento clave para el país.
Este 25 de enero a las 6 de la tarde llega el primer debate con los candidatos a la gran consulta por la señal principal, las apps del canal RCN, FM Radio y las plataformas digitales del Tiempo y Citytel. El debate de la gente, un debate distinto donde las preguntas las hace usted.
Ustedes tienen la palabra. Envíen sus preguntas. Aftershock de la Casa de los Famosos, Colombia. Cuando Colombia conversa, el país avanza. Por eso el tiempo y RCN nos unimos. El momento clave para el país.
Este 25 de enero a las 6 de la tarde.
Now, I will say, my gut originally told me that I thought this was F2. However, I know, depending on what day this was, a couple of days ago, and our friend Sean Kutsko actually alludes to this in his shout out. A couple of days ago, there was a monster 6-meter opening into the Caribbean. So there's a very good likelihood that could have been double hop E. That could have very well been double hop E down into Colombia. So either way, Channel 2, over 2,200 miles down to Colombia, analog TV skip. That RCN radio, or the RCN ID, just, I heard that. Oh man, I want it. So yeah, Again, there's some debate on Twitter. Was it F2? Was it E? If it was E, that was definitely double hop. That's some double hop. And I know, depending on when he got that, there was a pretty massive opening down into the Caribbean, in Central America, South America, at one point this week on 6 meters, E. So if he had a cloud that linked up with a cloud, that could have given him some double hop onto channel 2. So that is some outstanding. All right. Let's get back to our shout outs.
Hear the call for every single big or small, from AM to FM to C to C. We celebrate the ones who slag the IT. Shout out loud, let it be known, you're never DXing all alone. Through the static we found our way. Shout outs making waves today.
All right. I think, I know Andrew. Let me get my Twitter up here. Twitter? I still call it Twitter. I don't care. I don't care what he calls it. X, that's stupid. That's just dumb. It's Twitter. Yeah, that's Andrew. That's KADL, 8LEL, Amateur Radio Extra Class and DX. That's him. Yeah, that's him. That's our buddy. So that's his team. Static Voyager is his. I think he changed his name potentially on Twitter. Static Voyager. That's him from Ohio, though. All right. Let's start with our friend Stuart up in Michigan. Greetings from Sub-Zero, Southeast Michigan, as he starts. As Lloyd is reading this shout out, I'll likely still be at work with an incredibly cold walk home ahead of me. Bring us with you. Put your earbuds in, bundle up, let DX Central Live keep you warm. Luckily, the walk isn't too long and I have plenty of layers. It's been an unexpected week of DX across the bands. It started early Saturday morning when I received 2 new meteor scatter stations on my autologger. KXBJ in El Campo, Texas, 1,160 miles on 96.9, and sweet 98.5 KQKQ in Council Bluffs, Iowa, 629 miles. On Monday night, I decided to run an overnight NOAA weather radio recording on the .5 for possible Aurora DX. Not only did I receive a station through that mode, but I also received a surprise meteor scatter station as well. WNG 680 in Fergus Falls, Minnesota, 654 miles. My first Aurora station. Goal achieved. We got a clip attached here as well for that one. And KJY96 in Guyman, Oklahoma, 998 miles, my new distance record. I noticed that the Slack group had a huge amount of activity on Wednesday night, so I decided to turn on my Sangean HDR14 on the AM band and got 3 new catches. Relevant Radio, 1380 WMI in St. Petersburg, Florida, 997 miles. 840 CMHW Santa Clara, Cuba, 1,392 miles. And the Big Rebellion Wall, I'm going to trademark that one here. Yeah. 1180 in Cuba, 1,300 miles, and at least 2 echoing signals in there. Additionally, I found out from Les Rayburn, you guys know Les, N1LF, that one of my local NOAA weather radio stations, WXK81, was off the air due to maintenance, so I decided to run another overnight recording on Wednesday night and see what happens. While I didn't get any meteor scatter, I unexpectedly did receive a few seconds of tropo, including one new station, KIH22 on the .4, Traverse City, Michigan, 187 miles. My totals currently stand at 426 FM, 75 NOAA weather radio stations. I hope to reach 500 and 100 respectively by the end of this coming FM season. Hope everyone stays safe and warm this weekend. Here's hoping you get to DX in your warm, cozy shacks. Here, my friend. Here's this clip here from WNG 680 in Fergus Falls, Minnesota, 654-mile Aurora skip. Here we go. Man, that Aurora, that flutter, that distortion of the Aurora DX. Yep. New Latin American station for our friend Stuart with W. Another one of those with a very unique ID sequence. They are another one that has a very unique one. Let me take you over here. I've played this before, but I like playing it, so I'm going to do it again. This is W. Where'd they go? Oh, they're the first one on the list, that's why. Hey, Chuck.
Esta es W.
This is another one of those Cubans that used to be... Oh, come on. Used to be super reliable. Now they're not so much anymore. They're actually becoming harder to hear, as most of the Cubans are. But when you do hear them, that little keyboard synthesizer ID thing sticks out really, really well. So we also have, we have a new Latin American station for our friend Stuart. New goal achieved. So we're going to hit him with that. Goal! We're getting an Aurora station. And we're going to call this a milestone with a distance record. And you know what? I'm going to give you this milestone as well for paying attention to your local NOAA weather radio station being off the air on the .4. For getting that rebellion wall. That's the other one I'm going to give you that milestone for getting that rebellion wall. And, of course, we got a saw log for you here, my friend. Well done, my brother. Thank you for the shout out, man. And thank you again for those awesome jingles for DX Radio. They sound great. In case you guys weren't aware, but those are Stuart's jingles. Stuart made the jingles for us, and they sound fantastic. Well done, my friend. Dennis, you're up next, man. Glad to see you're still in there in the chat. Dennis had himself a nice little week here. Check this out. 1420 in Gloucester, Virginia. I'm pretty sure I said that right. WTGM 960 in Salisbury, Maryland. Hackettstown, New Jersey. 1510 WRNJ. 1500 Carthage, Illinois. WCAZ. WSMX 1500 in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I know I said that one. St. Paul, Minnesota, KSTP 933 miles. Everybody's getting Minnesota except for me. WDYT 1210 Kings Mountain, North Carolina. WMYT 1190 in Pine Castle, Florida. So, handful of new logs for our friend Dennis over in Virginia. Gloucester. The Chapatulas, I can pronounce Chapatulas all day long. Burgundy, Calliope, Chafuncta, Bogachita, Bogafalaya, Chafalaya. I'm good. You start throwing me this other stuff up, which you guys got in. Don't get me started on Texas. Texas just makes up their own words. Like they'll spell like, okay, we're going to have a word here. It's WORM. What is that word? Well, that's worm. No, it's not. It's warm. You sure about that? Well done, Dennis. David Harden up in Georgia or over in Georgia. Everybody's up for us. This week in Buffalo, I logged WK 1520 Buffalo. I thought I logged in before, but it was not in my logs, so do it for me. I had to pull it out of a lot of QRM. New log, excuse me. Siler City, North Carolina, 1570 WNCA with the top of ARID. Another new log, WAVS Davie, Florida, 1170, the heart of the Caribbean. Have a new log, New Ham Radio Country as well. WP9MT, Bermuda, 21.258, 15 meters. Big milestone for me was WJR Detroit, 760 at 1400 Eastern time. So that's 2 p.m. Eastern, middle of the day, 824 miles. Daytime DX is alive and kicking. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Sunshine signals on me band. 824 miles at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's awesome. That is the power of dead of winter daytime DX. So we're going to go ahead and start off with a new log here for you. VP9MT. Yeah, did I say something different? VP9MT is what he had Bermuda. 21.258. 21.258. So 15 meters. That gets him a new country as well. There you go. Yeah. Some of you guys, Gloucester, right? The closer you get to Massachusetts, it's Gloucester. I'm with you on that one. Gloucester, come on. All right. Well to go, David, my friend. Good job. Put a couple more of those in there for you. Jacob up in Minnesota. The land that sends no signals to the south. Just a couple of new logs thanks to auroral conditions this past week. I logged 1070 XEIT in Ciudad del Carmen and Campeche, which is a New Mexican state. It's a new Mexican state, not a New Mexican. The difference there. Then I logged 1050 Radio Aguila. That's HCRQ2 in Guayaquil, Ecuador, which is currently operating at a major offset of 1050.138. I think I've heard that one. Let me double check though, because I normally have Monterrey there just annihilating the frequency, Ranchita del Aire, but got 10 stations on this frequency. Yep, Ecuador's on there. Earlier January of last year. Got them. There we go. So if you are looking for another station of Ecuador or Ecuador in general, that's a good one to go after. 1050.138 kind of stands off to the side there, a little bit to the right. Go look for them and get you a new one of these Latin American station in your logbook. There you go. I think all the DX in Minnesota must be retiring in Florida or something. I don't know where it's going because it's not showing up down here. New Estado de Mexico, Campeche. And we obviously need to saw that log. There we go. Well done, my friend. One more shout out. You still have time to get yours in. dxchallenges.com/shout out. Send yours in and we'll get those in. And again, as a reminder, as I know we had some folks coming in and out, over the next 3 weeks, make sure you still continue to send in your shout outs. Don't hold on to them for Friday night, because when I do the voice tracking for DX Radio for our special programs we're going to be putting together to broadcast during this time slot, I'll be reading shout outs on those, but I'm going to be recording them ahead of time. So if you wait till Friday, they won't be until the next week. So just send those in as you get them. Send them in. We'll get to them all. We'll do them in little digestible, bite-sized shout outs on the little voice track thing that we're going to do. So those actually work better than one big long one, right? So send those through, and we shall read them out on our special broadcast, our Mardi Gras edition of DX Radio / DX Central Live, audio only. No Lloyd on camera. Our next shout out here is for our friend Sean Kutsko, KX9X or KZ9X. Yeah, I caught that in Illinois. I saw that in the Slack channel this week. Back to DXing after the hard disk crash. I've got my log reassembled and recovered as much data as I possibly could, and I've transferred my log online to Google Sheets. I saw your message, by the way, Sean. I'm going to do a Zoom for our patrons on that very topic soon. We're going to sit down together as a group and do a Zoom call on Google Sheets, data analysis, all that fun stuff. It's going to be a whole live kind of a working session if you would like. So our patrons, be on the lookout for an announcement about that coming up soon. If you want to be part of that and you're not a patron, the way you can do that, patreon.com/DXcentral. This week's Aurora produced a lot of fun. I have 24 hours of recordings to go over, which will hopefully yield some treasure. On the ham radio front, I worked El Salvador on 6 meters thanks to a wonderful auroral e-skip opening on Wednesday night for country number 78 on 6 meters. See, I told you there was an opening down to Central America and the Caribbean. I'm sure that's what Andrew was hitching a ride with as well. Maybe a little double hop auroral e-skip or something. That's crazy. 10 news stations on AM this week. WDBZ 1230 Cincinnati, Ohio, 213 miles. WGSF 1190 Memphis, Tennessee, 351 miles. XECT 1190 in Monterrey, Mexico, 1215 miles. WJFC 1480 Jefferson City, Tennessee, 379 miles. KTIB in Thibodaux, Louisiana, 772 miles. I'm cooking it for you, man. I got you going. XEEY in What frequency is this one on, by the way? Aguascalientes, 1,505 miles. I think that's one of the states that I need. That's why I'm asking. Oh, no, never mind. Nope, yes, it is. What frequency was XEY? Please, and thank you, because I need that one. I need that state. And there's like 2 stations in that state. Maybe just that one. It's tiny little. It's like a Rhode Island state in Mexico. So I need that. XCRG 690 Monterey, 1,215 miles. WLCC 760 Brandon, Florida, 900 miles. And so nice haul there, man. And I believe that Aguascalientes is probably a New Mexican state for you, correct? Because like I said, there's only like 2 stations in that state. Looking forward to 3 weeks of DX in the 1,000-mile challenge. There you go. Woo to the who. Let's see. Let's go ahead and start you off with this guy. XEEY is on 660. Oh, never mind. That's why I haven't heard him. I can't get past XECPR and Monterey, XEFZ. Those are the 2 that block me. That's why I haven't heard XEEY yet. Because I can't get past those guys. I get past one, and then there's the other one. That's why. I have to wait. Sometimes the Monterey station goes off the air. So I got to catch them when they're off. XECPR is there, and I null them out, and maybe I might have a shot at Aguascalientes, but it's not likely. New state. That's what I thought. Well done, man. That's a nice one. That's a very, very nice one. Not common. Of course, we got to dish out a little bit of the gumbo, and it's Mardi Gras season, so we're going to throw a little king cake slice in there with you as well. Actually, I'm going tomorrow to buy my next king cake, I think. 'Cause I bought one. It was a little dry. It was towards the end of the day. It was like the last one in the store on King's Day. So it was, hopefully tomorrow I can go get a nice fresh one. Oh, fresh king cake, man. There's nothing like it. Hopefully this will not have way too much sugar on it. The Ostman, it was insane. And we also have new logs here for you, man. So got that. Did you ever figure out which Cuban you had? Was it Ciudad del Mar? They're on what frequency was that you had that on? Was 1190? I forget which frequency you had that Cuban national anthem on. That you posted in Slack, but I'd love to figure out which Cuban you had there. Well done, because I know those would have been, either one would have been a new log for you, so that's awesome. Well done, Sean. Again, you still have time to get your shout outs in. dxchallenges.com/shoutout, and we shall shout out for you. Let's go ahead and do mine, because I didn't have a lot this week, but I did have a couple things to share that are pretty cool. One was that we heard a new station from Florida. I mentioned this earlier. I kind of alluded to it. No sign of San Andres y Providencia on 910. No sign of Mexico on 910. So it was kind of like I'm hearing a station here. I think it was it was Spanish station I was hearing on 910, but it wasn't either of the stations I normally would hear on 910. It turned out to be WTWD in Plant City, Florida. La Zeta. Heard a very nice, clear La Zeta ID, which was nice. 500 miles. That's number 1113 here in Mandeville. And got me a new station out of Florida. Now, that's all on the AM side. Now, FM, it didn't occur this week. However, I have been finally getting some time to go through my recording from that first week of January when we had the little e-skip opening. And I have some interesting things that came out of that. Including, let me go here to my January 5th. I finally heard Sonora. Was one of my Mexican states that I still needed on FM. I was getting Sinaloa. I was getting Chihuahua. I was getting all this kind of stuff right in this little area here. In fact, I'll show you my visual logbook from the day. That way you can kind of see where everything was coming from. Because it does point right to it. I mean, it's right here. So we were getting all this. We were getting down in here. And then I heard a station right here. And I was like, I think that's Sonora. And then they ID'd and it was them. So we have a new one here out of Sonora. This was Radio Lobo, XHYO. I was getting their RDS code on my recording from the 5th. So this is just so far 13 stations out of Mexico heard on that recording. I'm still going through it. So hopefully here soon I'll have some chance to spend some more time on that one and flush that one out and finish it up. But that was a new Mexican state here for me. So I'll do the little dance. Let's do a little dance. There you go. So that was a new Mexican state on FM for me, and handful of new logs. I think like 10 new Mexican logs out of Sinaloa and Chihuahua, and then we had the new one on AM from Florida. So not bad. Would like to have more. Definitely slow down, but that's mostly because I just haven't had time to be on the dials because I've been doing other stuff, day job stuff and whatnot. So. There we go. Thanks, Jacob. And let's do some more DX, shall we? Do that. This live DX session brought to you by the Spectrum Monitor, thespectrummonitor.com. Now, we're not doing FM because FM is not going anywhere right now. We'll do some AM DX here, and we'll look around for some 1,000 mile or more. Now, I'm looking, for me, 1,000 miles or more. But if you have something that you're looking for that's 1,000 miles or more for you, but it's under 1,000 miles for me, and you want to see if I'm hearing it, like especially Mexican stuff, like for instance, I mentioned this one here a few moments ago, 1050 XEG La Rancherita del Aire. Or I'm sorry, not Rancherita. That's another station. La Ranchera del Aire. Here we go. Here's XEG 1050. La Ranchera del Aire. And look at there. You see it? There it is. That's the offset that Jacob was talking about. Let's go ahead and pull up our... Right there. 1050.136. Look at that nice big trace there. That would be Ecuador. So if you need Ecuador, you're looking for Ecuador, that's a good one. I'm trying to do the math on mine. I am going to be 47 in July, I think. 47? Yeah. Yeah, 47. And I started my DX journey, Aiden, when I was 14. 13, 14. So you'll blink and you'll be sitting here 20 years, 30 years in. So that main station we're hearing there is XEG 1050. But this one here, Ecuador, 1050.138. Just to the north of it. If you're getting that trace in the audio, you have a shot at getting that one in your logbook, and I'm sure that will be over 1,000 miles for most everyone in the challenge. There may be some folks down in Mexico that maybe not, but most of us, that should be over 1,000 miles. Yep. 14 when I started doing musings into DX News. Blogs into DX News back in 1994. Started DXing in February of 93, right before I turned 14. So remember my first catch, KMOX 1120, February 25th, 1993, at 10:06 p.m. I was supposed to be asleep in bed for school, but I was DXing on the clock radio next to the bed and said, I'm gonna go put that in my logbook. I didn't have a logbook yet, not for AM, and here we are. Almost 33 years later. As that was starting to fade out a bit. Let's look at some other cool ones. I'm drawing a blank, Jacob, on some good offsets. There aren't as many good ones as there used to be. Well, let's see if this one's there. Radio Corporación in Nicaragua. Yeah. Here's another good one for the challenge. 540. You're looking for 539.86-ish, 850, 860, somewhere right in here. That is Nicaragua, YNOW, Radio Corporación. That's a very easy to see offset. HJAT 1100. Yeah, that's a good one. 1100.28. There they are. That's Columbia. That's Caracol Radio. They're easy to spot. Trick is getting audio. 1100.28. So if I want to be technical, so AM DX I started at 14. Mom taught me shortwave DX when I was 7. DXing BBC and that kind of stuff. I was 7. My first exposure to DX was the womb, probably. Definitely when I was a little kid. We were in Dallas in the apartment watching Mom and Dad. Dad with ham radio, Mom with shortwave, Dad with shortwave and communication satellite stuff. That was definitely there. So I mean, it was as long as I can remember. There's been radio. Radio has been a constant companion in my life since my earliest memory, which is pretty cool. You guys are hearing the Wobbler on 870?
Meant to last. That's why the 2020...
I haven't heard them lately. Now, it is kind of tough for me because I have WWL, but we can try to do something about that. Let's see if the Wobbler is showing up. Let's go to 870. And let's go down here and get rid of WWL. Oh, I got to restart it because I had changed my interface out because of the audio crap stuff. 870. So here we go.
Provide home health care, but the company doesn't even exist. This is again.
Long live you. For more information, visit oxner.org/sportsmedicine.
Hey, Pelicans fans.
Here's WWL.
You experience all the action. SeatGeek makes it
And let's see if we can get rid of them.
so you can be a part of all the courtside celebrations this season. Whether you're buying or selling tickets to Pelicans basketball games or to any other live event in New Orleans, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the
I forgot to do...
most disruptive idea in a ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek.
I don't hear the Wobbler. Yeah, I'm not hearing the Wobbler tonight. It's been a while since I heard him. Yeah, same, Sean. My, before I found sports, I found radio. Now, there's a second station in here. I have a female talking. That's interesting because we have WWL, which has the basketball game. Who is she?
On the other side of the three-point arc, made it harder for them to get going, and it didn't make a lot of threes in that first half.
All right, Memphis to start the fourth with the basketball and the white jerseys. That's a good start to the fourth.
That might have just been some really distorted audio of them talking in the basketball game. I didn't think it was. It sounded like it was different. But it might have been. Yeah, I don't hear anything from the Wobbler tonight. They do show up on 1000 every once in a while, so let's go take a look at 1000. Also have Mexico City here, XEOY. That's them with Share. It's XEOY. I don't hear the wobbler tonight. Sometimes I'll hear it on 670 with the other Rebeldy stations. Of course, we have the big wall on 1180.
DX Central Live, top of the hour alert.
Hey, Mike. So one of those Spanish stations we're hearing, the talking there is Rebelde. That's the Rebelde wall we talk about. Like 20, 30 transmitters on the island, at least there used to be. I don't know how many are left. Which we'll usually hear an echo there because they're poorly synced. The echo? Orally synced. White's radio log. We used to have a copy at the house. I was a big fan of the M Street directory back in the day. That was one of my favorites. Between that and World Radio TV Handbook, obviously. And Monitoring Times Center Section. But then, you know, I knew the lady that put it together, huh? I'm trying to think of some other stations that you can shoot for Mexico-wise. So there's your main Cubans, 1180, 670, 640, 950 if you're looking for a low. That's one of the few that are left. There's that. Maybe try for 840. See if you have W. 1510 in Ecuador, obviously. That's a big one. We showed you the 1050 for Ecuador as well, 1050.138. You see them here on our trace that we have on screen. Nice big orange trace here. That's them. 660, you've heard that one earlier, XECPR. That's Quintana Roo right there. How loud they are. I mean, there's pretty much nothing between them and I except for the Gulf of Mexico. So here's another good one to try for 1060 XECPAE Radio Educación. Although I don't think that's them. That's probably Monterey. Or not Monterey, it's Matamoros. La Raza.
Cultura 1060 AM, La Centenaria. Transmite desde la Ciudad de México en Ángel Urraza 622, Colonia del Valle. Una emisora de Radio Educación, la radio de las culturas de México.
Este domingo en la Hora Nacional hablaremos de programas y servicios sociales del gobierno federal.
Les platicaremos del Mundial Social, un movimiento 100% mexicano.
Conoceremos más sobre la trayectoria y legado de Margarita Maza, una mujer adelantada a su tiempo.
conmemoramos el Día Mundial de la No Violencia.
That's how loud Mexico is here.
La salud y la prevención de enfermedades de la piel.
Leo Suchal, los esperamos este
Radio Encyclopedia.
Esta es una producción de RTC de la Secretaría de
530.
Gobierno de México.
La lleva también, para por si hay alguna confusión, nosotros siempre colegiamos y entonces después, cuando se acaban los partidos, yo voy y recojo la cantidad oficial de lanzamiento que me da el comisario y entonces ya después también nuestro estadístico.
That's Rebeldi. I got Rebeldi here. Yeah, I've got Rebeldi. That's something I've been seeing lately. I don't know if they're putting Rebeldi on the Encyclopedia transmitter, but I've been hearing Rebeldi louder than Encyclopedia lately. Very, very frequently. Someone mentioned Radio Musica Nacional earlier on 590. That's another one to try for, although they're not as loud as they used to be.
Creó una obra tienen valor este programa. Tengo llamadita en línea, vamos a ver qué onda pasa. Primero el tercero, suave sentimiento, la tristeza de las hermanas. Fiordeli, interpretada por la soprano Maya.
No le cayó nada a la sopa, mi querido Dieguito. Marcelito, ¿cómo vamos? ¿Bien o no?
La partida de sus amantes a la guerra, con la participación del filósofo Don Alfonso, al presentarme el bajo Alessandro Cordelli.
That's probably them, Radio Musica Nacional. If you're looking Central America, that Nicaraguan that we looked at earlier is good. I know Sean's stalking Radio Vea on 1570 from Guatemala. For most of you guys, that should be 1,000 miles.
Ciertamente en otro.
It's them. They're here. Radio Vea coming in right now, Guatemala. I'll give you that link for their live stream, Sean, in case you want to go try this. This sounds like a good time to go get them. They're in and out a little bit, but this might be a shot. That was them. So it's a Central American, Caribbean, shallow Latin night here. Not deep into South America. You try 910. Probably San Andres. Try Caracol Radio 810. One of these might be Bahamas. Don't forget about the expanded band as well, guys. That's a great place to get 1,000-mile or more catches because there's so few stations on those frequencies. You can get out west for your East Coast folks, vice versa for the West Coast folks. That's a great place to get 1,000-mile catches, the expanded band. Don't forget about that one. Here's Kansas City in there. Let's see what's on 770. One of those is probably Colombia. 1090's been producing like crazy lately. People have been hearing all kinds of stuff from Latin America on 1090 lately. Dominican Republic, Mexico, Peru, Colombia. This has been a very good frequency. I highly suggest you spend some time on 1090 sometime in the next 3 weeks. Makes me wonder. We're at negative 0.2. Hay is still at 4, negative 0.2 BZ now. So it's at least negative. Not very big, but it's at least negative now. Here comes KAAY again. Groovy. 1080.
And then on top of that, do you have any...
A couple domestics here. 1070. Memphis. I forget who this is on 1040. 1039.762.
So anyway, what we're looking at right now, just as in geopolitics, it's perception management. Because when it comes to
that's XEPLE in Palenque. That's right. Palenque, Mexico, 1039.763. So if you're looking for a Mexican station to get you over 1,000 miles, and you're looking for those easy to see offsets, that 1039.763 is a nice one.
And
for XEPLE, Radio Palenque in Palenque, Mexico.
I know that some people really are going to get some major weather, but here in New Mexico, we don't get like crazy snow. But
XEPRS out of Baja, Tijuana area.
And
on 1090, that's another one that gets out very. I've heard them here. They do get out very, very well. So that 1090 has been very, very strongly producing lately. 910 and 1090 are two of my absolute favorite Latin American frequencies.
He arrested his political opponent and even tried to eliminate her.
For the sheer volume of what they actually produce, which you can actually hear on that one frequency. 550 is another one. 550, there's all kinds of stuff on 550.
Now, who are you sending to the
Florida? My local on 990. There's a Colombian here. Is it 980 or 960 is the Colombian? This is Mexico.
Evalúa parar los envíos de petróleo a Cuba ante tensión con Trump, según Reuters. Eluniversal.com.mx. Remates hipotecarios se triplican ante interés de nuevas generaciones. Estafas también crecen 30% en un año. Alertan. Milenio.com. Gasolinas y diésel se mantienen sin estímulo fiscal. Elfinanciero.com.mx.
It was like 97, Carl, I want to say. I remember they were still doing experimental broadcasts. The Army had a experimental station, K-Truck, KTRK. I want to say it was 1650, I think. I still have the QSL somewhere. That was 96. Pretty sure. It was 96. So it was somewhere right there around 96, 97, 98. That's when things started popping up on the band. Right in that late 90s time frame. I could probably figure it from my Brasstown logbook, actually. Grupo Fórmula.
En la nacional hablaremos de programas y servicios sociales del gobierno federal.
Les platicaremos del Mundial Social, un movimiento 100% mexicano.
Conoceremos más sobre la trayectoria y legado de Margarita Mata, una mujer adelantada a su tiempo.
Conmemoramos el Día Mundial.
Let me look here, my Brasstown logbook for you, Carl.
La salud y la prevención de...
Leo Chichar, los esperamos este domingo a las 10 de la noche.
Esta es una producción de RTC de la Secretaría de Gobernación.
Gobierno de México.
Hablemos de mamá a mamá y dinero a papá. Con Gina Ibarra.
¿Sabías que la educación financiera debe iniciarse desde la infancia? Enseñar a los niños a manejar el dinero, a diferenciar entre necesidades.
Looks like 96. I have a log from February 4th of 1996 for WJDM on 1660. I think they were either the first or one of the first ones that went up.
Con prudencia o planear sus recursos, lo que podría generar problemas financieros en la adolescencia o adultez. Juegos, actividades.
K-Truck was February 5th of 96. So that's the Army broadcast test they were doing in Alexandria, Virginia on 1670, not 1650, 1670. That was February 5th of 96. So it was right there around 96. Continuing on here. Oh, if we get any, yes, that was Rouleau on 950. If we get any enhancement towards the south, spend some time on 920 trying for Radio Nacional do Paraguay. Sean can tell you they're there. 850 for Uruguay. 770 is also a possibility, but I've seen them off the air a couple times recently. 850 seems like a little more reliable signal to try for, even though 770 is stronger and lower on frequency, so that would equate to more likely. 850 has been heard recently. Jacob heard them. Those are a couple of deep south ones if you want to go down there. 870 and 750 for Argentina. Those are two frequencies to also keep an eye on if you're wanting to go super, super long. There's no bonus points for extra long, but if you're looking for more stuff that's over 1,000 miles and you want to go super long and kill two birds with one stone, there you go. That's a couple of options for you. 1510, 700, 580, I think was another Ecuadorian. There's a couple. Definitely here. I'll put this up as well. I share this one out quite a bit. This is my beacon frequencies, and by beacon I mean like my stations down in Latin America, Caribbean, Pan America that I look for that kind of like tell me about how propagation is going. They're not actual like beacons, like beep beep, Morse code and whatnot. But this does give you a chance to try out some stations if you're targeting specific countries or trying to get that kind of 1,000-mile distance from your location. This gives you a bunch of stations to shoot for. Live stream information is in there as well with my notes. So use that and abuse that to be your target list, especially if we do get some enhancement in the next 12 to 48 hours or so down towards the south. Jacob's got a nice little blackout going on right now in Minnesota, which tells me we might be getting some enhancement here pretty soon. My signal to noise ratio is a 27 dB, so that's pretty good. I'm not getting much of a blackout down here. I'm getting a little bit of a southern enhancement, kind of shallow southern enhancement. So who knows what we might have the next 24 hours or so. But use that list to help you out and give you some ideas of some stations you can chase after and get more stuff in that is 1,000 miles or more. So a quick recap as we get ready to adjourn for the evening. We will not be on camera the next 3 weeks. Next week, the week after that, will not be on camera. We will have special programming that will be airing in this time slot on this live stream. So you'll definitely want to keep an eye out for that. Make sure that you're joining in around the usual time, around 6:45 Central Time, 00:45 UTC. We'll be airing some special programming each of those 3 weeks. In conjunction with DX Radio, we'll be live streaming both simultaneously and simulcasting those together. Still submit your shout outs. Put those shout outs in. We want to make sure you get those in because I will be reading shout outs in the special programming that we're putting together that we're pre-recording. So get your shout outs in so we can still get you that high five, that hand clap, everything in there for you. I'm wore out, guys. My brain's fried. We'll get you that verbal high five in there during those special broadcasts. This challenge runs the next 3 weeks as well. The 1,000 plus mile challenge. Again, the goal here is for stations that are 1,000 miles or more from your location. That's what you're targeting. Anything less than 1,000 miles won't count, so it has to be 1,000 miles or more. You have 3 weeks of great, hopefully, conditions to help you out and get those stations in the logbook and in the challenge form. Be sure you register dxchallenges.com if you want to be part of that fun. We will not have a challenge the week of the 13th, February 13th through the 20th. We're taking that week off from challenges, giving you guys a week break as well. And then we'll resume both the live stream and the challenges on the 20th when we come back on camera. For our sponsors, International Radio Club of America, IRCAonline.org, National Radio Club, nationalradioclub.org, and the Spectrum Monitor magazine, thespectrummonitor.com. For our patrons, thank you so much for your support. I'm still blown away by how much support you guys have thrown in to the Patreon Studio C world that we have kind of developed over there, and we're continuing to do more. I will be putting together some live stream content for you guys here soon. The first one's going to be on Google Sheets and data analysis type stuff, so that'll be coming exclusively for our patrons. We're going to do a Zoom stream showing you how to do some of that stuff. Also, our patrons are going to have the ability to download our DX Radio mixtapes, those limited edition mixtapes that we're putting together. The first one's going to be my mix of my favorite songs we put together so far. Each one's going to have a different theme. That'll be how you can actually download copies of these songs for the limited time they're available. So if you want to be able to do that and get in all the other fun stuff as well, the early access to videos, podcast episodes, all kinds of cool stuff, patreon.com/DXCentral. That's where you'd want to go. All right. Thank you, my friends. We'll see you guys on the 20th of February. Enjoy the next couple of weeks with the 1,000-mile challenge. Enjoy, hopefully, our DX Radio special content we're going to be putting together for you guys over the next couple of weeks. It's going to be kind of fun little things that we're doing just to have some fun. Take care, my friends. Please, please, please be safe. For those of you in the path of the storm, the ice and the snow and the cold and everything else, don't get out and venture unless you have to. Be safe, stay warm, stay hunkered down, and DX. That's the safe thing to do. Stay home, DX. Take care, my friends. 73. We'll see you next time right here on DX Central Live.
This has been the DX Central from the Static Podcast. If you are interested in sponsoring this podcast, let us know by emailing sponsors@fromthestatic.net. If you have a story to share for our Stories from the Static series, send those to our email address, stories@fromthestatic.net. Be sure to join us for our live DX live stream every Friday night at 23:45 UTC, 18:45 Central Time on our YouTube channel or at dxcentrallive.com.
The DX Central from the Static podcast is copyright 2025, Lloyd Van Horn, DX Central. All rights reserved. No portion of this podcast may be rebroadcast or reused without the express written authorization of Lloyd Van Horn and DX Central. Be sure to follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, as new episodes will be posted regularly. Join us next time for the DX Central from the Static podcast.